Hello, how's it going? How you doing? Today on this podcast, the Matty B Files, we got an interview with Altered Sky, a band from Scotland that play like a mixture of pop and metal. I'm also going to do some book reviews. I'll be on the streets in Shibuya to interview people and ogle at the hotties wearing sexy Halloween costumes. We don't have that PC Halloween culture in Japan. And Halloween's only become popular in Japan the past few years, and it's skanky as shit, and nobody cares what you wear. We don't have PC police telling us what to do. So I'm going to be on the streets and hopefully interview some people there. I'll also be doing the breakdown of the recent Japanese election and why foreigners don't give a shit and why I don't cover Japanese politics really on this podcast. So by not covering it, I'll be covering it. We'll take a look at some Kawaii Stationery, and you're listening to the Matty B Files, a podcast that broadcasts Tokyo subculture. All right. The first book I'm going to take a look at, it won't take too long, just a little heads up, is called The Strange Death of Europe by Douglas Murray. I've been following with great interest the migration crisis from Syria and North Africa and Europe's policies into it. I'm a migrant, basically an economic migrant. You might call me an expat, but I'm not really. I teach English. I run a school. I built a school at a tech company, and I teach satellite engineers and software engineers technology in English and where they can find new trends in technology, SpaceX and stuff like that. I don't have to worry about foreign crime so much. Japan has a very strict migration policy. So when I heard about all of the migration going on in Europe, it piqued my interest because I saw an article on The Guardian or something like that, or the Daily Mail, I can't remember, saying like a couple of years ago, saying that in Germany, they didn't know where 600,000 migrants of the 1.1 million migrants were. They were just roaming around somewhere. And I thought, holy shit. I pictured myself in Japan. What if there was like 600,000 illegal Canadians roaming the forests of Japan, and I was a Canadian? I would feel very bad. I would be very, I would expect a lot of, I don't know, garbage thrown my way. Oh, you Canadians coming here. And I also thought, well, what if there was 600,000 North Koreans just wandering around the forests with no documents and stuff like that? It really scared the shit out of me thinking about that. So I did some research into the migration issue, and one thing that's really easy to get into some dangerous territory, and especially like discriminatory or racist aspects of migration policy and criticizing it, is right-wing nationalists. Of course, they're going to largely be anti-migration. By the way, Japan's governor of Tokyo, Yuriko Koike-san, she is 100% anti-immigration. And that's a female governor of Tokyo. She's just not into it. We don't need it. We don't need them. Immigrants and migrants. Illegal, I think. Legal migration is generally okay. I just get a work visa. So I wanted to find somebody who did not come across as right-wing politically. I wanted to find somebody who was critical of the migration issue in Europe, who is coming from more of a scholarly or, even a little bit left-wing perspective. And I came across the book by Douglas Murray, The Strange Death of Europe. It's about how it's from a Jewish perspective. He's a Jewish scholar, but I don't think he's coming at it from Jewish perspectiveness. Anyways, he's not this kind of anti-migration, typical right-wing guy that you would find rallying against people just because of their skin color. He's looking at personal account, Douglas Murray is, he's traveling to these places. He's going around Europe and analyzing how Europe is going to be changed forever based on the current migration policies. The book is heavily referenced. It has references out the wazoo. The works cited section, I'm just looking at it now, the notes goes from page 321 to 335, and then the index is from 337 to 43. Note on the author. Douglas Murray is associate editor of The Spectator and writes frequently for a variety of other publications, including the Sunday Times and Wall Street Journal. An experienced debater, Douglas has spoken on a variety of prominent platforms, including at the British and European parliaments at the White House. Pardon my French. His previous books include Bloody Sunday, Truth, Lies, and the Seville Inquiry, and Neoconservatism, Why We Need It, and Boise, a biography of Lord Alfred Douglas. So, pretty experienced writer. He's not just somebody who goes onto Periscope or YouTube and just sort of stands on a soapbox and screams about their feelings. This is heavily researched. So if you are interested in the effects of the European migration crisis, and you're looking at, and you want to find more of like a detailed scholarly approach to it, I would recommend The Strange Death of Europe. It's not too difficult of a read. It's easy to read, and again, it goes at it from a scholarly perspective, but the author travels through Europe interviewing migrants and interviewing people who have been affected by the migration crisis, and he can see that there's definitely some backlash against their policies, especially from Merkel. I think we should just stop Germany from controlling Europe forever. It's like they're very good at manufacturing and arranging things, but then there's like that level of logic where you go into La La Land logic, where everyone agrees logically that yes, of course we have this lowered birth rate, so let's bring in millions of people from another place, and that way we will have multiculturalism, and that will be better. And it's like, well, wait, what's the effect? And then they just say at you, "Shut up, racist. You're an Islamophobe. We're trying to save the Syrians." Well, then why is there 50,000 Somalians knocking at my door? Shh, you're racist. You're just an Islamophobe. It's like, well, how did we get to this point? Where did this even come from? And why is it that if someone is critical of another culture moving in on their neighborhood, that you're somehow a dick? Like, also, when you travel, you put a chain on your wallet, not because you think everyone in that country is a thief, but because you know that there are thieves in that country. So shouldn't there be like chains on, effective deterrence on migration policy as well? Because there's going to be some people who've been bombed to shit for 15 years, who've lost their family, who have been radicalized, who are going to see your migration policy, which is being fanned out on Twitter and social media, and they're going to go, oh, well, I can get my revenge pretty easily this way. And I'll throw away my documents and I'll pretend to be from another country and I'll get my revenge. It's easy enough to get a knife or a truck and, over. I get my revenge and I don't want to live anyways. So those are people that are going to be taking advantage of a weakness in a migration policy. So is it possible to have a strict immigration policy without being a dick? Yeah, I think it's called Japan. Japan has a very strict immigration policy. You have to bring something to the country. Japanese people are not interested in my ability to do software engineering. They can do that very well themselves. However, they fucking suck at speaking English, so I can help them with that. And I treat that education as an exchange. I don't want to be Japanese. I like having this lifestyle in very safe Tokyo, and I like the migration policy. I used to be a little bit more a dickhead. I used to be a bit more critical of the Japanese for their very strict policies, but no, not so much. There's not enough arable land. There's a lot of people, and if you're a refugee, you can't work for money. And Japan is a capitalistic country. They take capitalism to the next level. So if you're interested in, like I said, a book that looks at migration critically but also objectively, then I recommend The Strange Death of Europe by Douglas Murray. Next book I'm going to review just very briefly is a book called Transitions from Iain M. Banks. I love Iain M. Banks. I think he's my favorite writer. I think he goes beyond George Orwell. He's able to do those massive space operas from the Culture series, but he's also able to focus on small town novels about local thugs and people that come back from working in the city to find their home culture kind of changed or more of the same, and how it's going to affect them after coming back home. So Transitions is a very strange book. It's about string theory and about how some people have the ability to transfer their consciousnesses across realities. I mentioned this earlier before, I think. I'm not going to spend too long on it. If you want to pick up this book, and it's about how there's a group of people that protect this ability to flit between realities, and they assassinate each other, and they are becoming more and more corrupt, and there's like this backlash society within this group that can switch between alternate realities. And effectively, the novel pushes them together towards a climax at the end where they kind of have a battle. Now, this book is very confusing at times because there's a lot of characters, and the characters are their consciousness. So when it goes into a chapter of the book, it's a chapter of the book, and you go into the characters' minds, and these characters' minds are inhabiting some body that their brain, that their consciousness has flitted into. So it's a little bit abstract, to say the least. It's funny. There's some very funny moments. One main criticism, though, is that there are two main enemies, two leaders. There's the leader of the traditional culture traditional group of people that can flit between realities, and then there's the backlash. The leader of both of those are women, which is fine, but if I found it hard to separate the two. They didn't really have very different personalities, so I found that I wasn't sure which one was which, because there's so many characters, and a lot of the time is given to not the leaders, but the people working under the leaders. So yeah, that was my main criticism. I didn't really know why one was better than the other, or why one was fighting against. I could understand why they were fighting against the other, but I got them often confused with each other because there's just so many characters, and the leaders were not really so different from each other in many ways. They're all having sex and wearing sexy clothing. So there we go. That is the book reviews, The Strange Death of Europe and Transitions by Iain M. Banks. I recommend them both. Definitely. Yeah, they'll make you smarter. They'll make you look at things a little bit differently, and it gets you away from all of the stupid, highly politicized news, culture, music, and sports. I've been reading a lot of books, and I've been getting away from internets while I'm between A and B. I feel a lot more enriched for it, and I feel a lot calmer for it, and I don't have to listen to people squawking all the fucking time. I get to sit back, read books, analyze data, consider the good and the bad, and make a decision. Yeah. So one last thing about the migration thing is I made a choice. And the choice comes down to, are you pro or anti illegal immigration? That's the choice. And you can say, well, the Republicans made it so that the farmers had to take in the illegal immigrants. So you can say, oh, the Democrats are just a bunch of bleeding heart liberals. But I'm saying put that aside and look deep into your heart and say, do you want illegal or legal immigration? Do you want legal or illegal migration? I'm choosing for legal. It streamlines the process. It keeps wages higher. People don't have to live in fear. And if you have the right paperwork, you don't have to resort to crime. There's not going to be crime bosses trying to recruit lost illegal immigrants and enforcing them into prostitution, drugs, murder. So that's where I stand. And I'm looking at migration policies that prevent illegal immigration, or that prevent mass migration, where you don't have hundreds of migrants being moved into cities that have 200 people as local residents. That's forced migration, and it's, I don't know, it's very suspicious. It's very expensive, and it becomes a problem that snowballs into other problems. So I live in Japan, where migration is very strict, where visas, you just get a visa if you want to work, and then you work and you do your job, and that's the exchange that you pay. That's where I stand. That's where I stand. All right. It's easy for me to say that because Japan's an island nation. We don't have land borders. We have maritime borders. So that's it for that. Next, we're going to move on to the interview with Altered Sky, a band from Scotland. We're going to play a little bit of their music before we before we flit into the park near Sangenjaya, where we conducted this interview. Stay tuned. They're a fun band. Oh, I should explain one thing. The way I conduct my band interviews is I play in bands, and when you play in a band, you want the whole song to sound as one. That's what a band means. A band around your finger is a ring, and it doesn't have any breaks in it. So the way I do the interview is I get everyone to introduce themselves at the beginning, but then the microphone kind of floats around and people can comment, and you're not necessarily sure if it's the guitarist or the bassist who's speaking. They might say, oh, when I play bass or when I play drums, but I want the whole interview, after you listen to it, you get a feeling for what the band says as a whole about their teachers, their influences, why they are playing the music, how they approach the music, and you get an idea of who's who a little bit, but I don't think it's very important, because when I watch a band, I'm not necessarily going like, oh, the band, like when the bassist does this, that's what I really like. It's more like an affectation where you listen and you hear something in your ears and it kind of goes, oh, that's nice. So that's what I have. Hopefully I'm trying to do with the overall approach to band interviews. So that's going to float around. There's going to be some interruptions. There's going to be some laughter. There's going to be some criticism. Let's get into it. Altered Sky from Scotland. Beautiful band. Let's go. Let's flit.
To the beat, you know it's your sign. Let's call up everyone. Stop and hit the lights and show them how it's done. You know it's your little time. I'm the reason. I'm believing. I'm deceiving, but I'm not that polite. It's what I want from you. What I need from you, you know I'm not innocent. Like wire, kill the void, you're suffocating. Eyes don't lie, lose it all before it's over. Like wire, giving up was not an option. Burn the bridge, the bricks you built tonight. It's just your life.
Coming to you from Terrifying Park. This is Anna here from Altered Sky.
Yeah.
What's happening?
We're in Setagaya Park.
Hello, I'm Ross and I play bass for Altered Sky.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I play guitar for Altered Sky.
Hi, I'm Amy, and I play drums for Altered Sky.
Hello, I'm Tara, and I also play guitar for Altered Sky.
In your videos, I was looking at your YouTube videos today. Were there 3 girls in the? Or did the lineup change?
Oh, you found the secret.
Because I was a little bit not confused, but I was like, I thought he was another guy from another video, but I'm not. I'm a little bit confused.
Well,
Who I'm looking at.
What's happened is we used to have 4 guys in the band, and we all changed, and now we're just whatever we want to be.
Yeah.
And someone has very long hair, and now there's a ginger guy. Yeah, we used to have other members. Basically,
Okay.
you found the secret.
Okay, that's fine. And were you always the drummer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since day one, yeah.
Since day one.
Day one.
So, who is Altered Sky? Can you just briefly introduce the style of music you play and
Yeah.
where you're from? And
Like, we're from Glasgow. Well, kind of, we're living in Glasgow now. The 5 of us were really moving down this kind of rock / kind of struggling with either going to pop or heavy, but certainly in the rock center of music. Altered Sky lives there.
yeah, I've noticed some of your YouTube videos have like more of a poppy feel. Those get higher view counts, and then the heavier songs get fewer view counts. Sometimes, on average. Right? One of your more popular songs had like something like 197,000 views that I saw today.
Oh, right, that would be Where I Belong.
Yeah. And then some of the other ones that are a bit heavier get 80 to 90,000 views.
Yeah,
So
I think it's also
does that
kind of
affect
lucky.
how you choose to make music?
No,
No?
we at the moment we just kind of we've put out what we've had. We're working our second album now. This is our new lineup. This is the first time we've written together as this 5. So I mean, unfortunately, the relationships that we had in the past didn't work out, and that's where they've sort of the people in the band have got us to where we are today. But now this is our sound. This is the way we're going. So it's almost like we're closing the book and the chapter on everything that we've got in the past, and we're moving forward. We're gonna have a brand new sound, and we're just gonna explode our music everywhere.
How long have you been playing as Altered Sky?
As Altered Sky, it's 7.5 years the band has
Okay.
been formed. Yes.
And why are you moving in a new direction?
Because it's time for the new. We've got so many new influences now. Obviously, with Tara joining the band, and with Ryan, this is the first time that we've written with these members and ourselves, and we've grown so much since we've had to unfortunately lose our old members.
They all died.
A horrible death.
Yeah.
Horrible, gruesome, scary death.
Ugh, fire, I heard.
Not this time. It was drowning.
Drowning, water. Okay.
And ice.
Elemental. All right. What kind of influences do you have? Anyone can take this question.
Everything.
As opposed to everything.
Well, I'd be on the heavier side in prog, and like more technical kind of stuff. But I also really like pop punk. Well, some pop punk, mainly female led. But yeah, you like?
Oh, me.
Hold on, but when you say progressive, this is kind of the interesting thing for me because I'm from Canada, but I'm in Tokyo. You're from Scotland, but you're in Tokyo. So when you say progressive, like prog rock, I might have a completely different image of that in my head. So what do you mean by prog rock?
Well, my favorite
You
would
can,
be
do like that.
hello.
There you
My
go.
favorite would be Animals as Leaders.
See, I have no idea about that. I was thinking
yeah.
Rush because I'm from Canada.
Well, I also like Rush,
Yeah.
but I more prefer the newer kind of stuff. But I quite like Dream Theater. But I only got introduced to Dream Theater through Ross and Amy when I met them. But it'd be newer stuff like Periphery and stuff. They're mainly American bands, and they're all like digital kind of rigs and stuff. It was all like different measures and crazy stuff. So
Okay.
I quite like that.
Are you guys so-called millennials?
Well, I'm 22, so does that
You're-
count?
Yeah, you're how do you get a hold of your music? Because I grew up in like an MTV kind of field.
I kind of had that through my like sister, my oldest one, but mainly YouTube or just like the suggestion part of YouTube, where it's like if you like this band, you must like this one, and you kind of just branch out through that.
Do you listen to the videos or do you listen to the audio?
It depends. I don't really care much for music videos and that like kind of idea, but I like lives. I like watching bands play live. It's one of my favorite things. Especially like to watch guitar players and stuff like that. So yeah,
Okay.
that's what I kind of go for.
Well, what kind of guitar players?
Well, it would be like technical players and the ones that have like 8 strings and the really crazy stuff, and you kind of watching it is the only way to truly appreciate it. I always find, because in recording, anyone can play quick, but it's when you actually see it, and it's really like clever and stuff. And yeah, that's what I enjoy. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Any names?
I can't actually remember his name now, but he's the guitarist from Animals as Leaders. Toshin Abasi, that's his name. Yeah, it is Abasi. It's like, yay!
Is there a big focus on names? Because when I was growing up, we had albums with album art and like credits on the back, and part of the experience of listening to music when I'm 37 years old, was you would get the album and you could get all of the information. Like you would put the album in the CD player, and then while it was playing, you'd be reading the credits and, oh, that's the producer from this album, or he's doing it here now. But
well, the kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't with music I listen to now. It would have been, I'm madly in love with Paramore. And they would be a band that I'm invested in personally, and I know all their names and their birthdays and all this crazy stuff. But everyone else, it's a less of a personal interest and more just a creative one. So it's a different kind of thing.
Anyone else? Influences?
Well, yeah, it's hard to hit the heavier side, but for my sort of side, I would say more generally pop punk sort of stuff, mostly older sort of stuff.
What do you mean by older? Yeah,
like right at the start from pop punk was like the Blink-182, Yellow Cards, Story of the Year, and All American Rejects. They were quite main influence for me personally. Just the general melody of the songs and just that catch every time the chorus comes, and just absolutely love them.
Okay, sure.
For me personally, much like Tara, I'm very much a prog rock fan, but it's the old British ones, Genesis and Yes and all that sort of stuff. Also Rush, but my favourite by far would be Dream Theater, the American band. But they were a big influence. Their bass player was a big influence on me in terms of my own playing and everything, even my life.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's kind of one of the big reasons that I play bass. In the style that I play. So huge influence there. But yeah, it's a lot of kind of old prog stuff that defines my playing and what I listen to. But yeah.
Okay. One thing I've noticed about like a lot of America is that the country is so connected north to south, east to west, and they have like infrastructure and then radio infrastructure and distribution and trucking. There's really like a lot of opportunity for people to do like their art and connect from city to city. Like in Canada and Japan, it's a little bit more difficult because of cost, and in Canada because there's nothing there, right? So it's like a lot of the times when growing up, people were like, "Oh, I have to go to America." It's like, no, I don't. But then like, yeah, you kind of do, just because it's like trying to become a rock star in a small town.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I suppose in the UK, it's very much like, I would say, you could compare it to the American system where everything's connected, but the UK is really small, so you wouldn't really. There's no vast stretches of nothing in the UK. Everything's next to each other. It's very easy to go to London, which is the capital city and the hub musically of the UK. But each major city in the UK has its own big music scene. It's really difficult to go to a major city in the UK and there's like no music scene. There is always something going on. So it's very easy to, and you'll know yourself over the last 50, 60 years, the bands that the UK has produced. I think that's a big reason behind it, is because there's huge music scenes all over the country. It's not just like in one place. So yeah, it's kind of good.
That's cool. Yeah. All right, Anna.
Influence-wise, for me, I'm kind of a weird one because I listen to a lot of really old Sega music, so I'm very like
Sega video game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very like Sonic the Hedgehog influenced, where there's so many different layers and everything complements each one.
Yeah.
So quite naturally coming to Japan is one of the biggest things I think I've ever done, and I've always wanted to do as a child. But for me,
I know a guy who writes video game music.
Yeah, all cool.
Yeah,
What
he's
games?
a guitarist. I don't know what games, but he works at a company where they get contracts to write music for video games. So he's just at
right.
like this office all day in some sort of music studio, cranking out video game music on his guitar all
That
day.
is insane.
Yeah.
Second dream. Second dream. Second dream. Hello. That'd be so cool. It's something that I've just like, I don't know, been obsessed with, I guess is the best word.
Okay, why Sega as opposed to Atari?
Well, I never had an Atari.
Okay.
I have no idea. Like, if people ask me, I don't even know. I have absolutely no idea. And it's only specifically like 4 games as well. When I was a kid, I'd play Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and put them all together. And I'd just be obsessed with the way like the levels would come. And my favorite level, for instance. Then when I grew older, it moved on to like PlayStation. So I was influenced by Final Fantasy VII music. So that's like Nobuo Uematsu as well. And then moving on
The
to
music
Silent
for
Hill.
Final Fantasy VII's out of this world.
It's insane. I just spent like 2,000 yen on games and stuff about Final Fantasy VII today.
Good, right on. Yeah.
Best game in the universe, and my name on Twitter is Cloud Strife. So, yeah, that's hugely a thing for me. And
Don't
in
you love
music.
in Final Fantasy VII? It takes 6 hours just to get out of the first town.
No. I've got it down to a T, and I've also mastered like all limit breaks before leaving the Shinra building, which
Oh.
took a while, but
Yeah.
it's worth it.
That's so interesting. They're very diverse. What about teachers? I'm interested in teachers these days. Did you guys ever have music teachers, or do you have any teachers that you thought were very influential on you, or that you could thank?
Nope.
No.
What? No.
Yeah, when I was at school, I had a teacher called Dave Swanson, who's like a jazz player. And he taught me basically everything I know, from the basics to slightly more advanced things. So I had lessons for about 4 years while I was at school. Then after that, I went to college, and I had lessons from a guy called Vinnie Bonner, who was more of a rock player, more like classic rock. So I had kind of that side as well, which was pretty interesting. I love them both, and they basically taught me everything.
Okay. So you come from a jazz background.
Kind of, yeah,
Kind of.
basically.
What I noticed about jazz drummers is that when they play other styles of music, they don't tend to bring the jazz with them. Whereas like punk rock drummers that try to play jazz often bring the punk rock with them into jazz. So it's a weird thing with jazz training. You learn styles and how to play.
Yeah. I don't know. I never really brought my jazz with me, which I wish I had, in some kind of way. But I've never really stuck to that kind of area, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You use it in other things, like such as cooking. And
Yes, my
making
jazz
toast.
stays with me in my
Dude.
cooking somehow.
Toast pops up,
I don't
it's
know
all
how
good.
that happened. But yeah, it was more, I found my calling later on when I hit rock music kind of thing. It was more my place. I felt I
Yeah.
belonged there. I have a little jazz. I can play a little jazz, but nothing too insane.
Sure, fair enough. Anyone else for teachers?
Yes, I had a teacher. Unfortunately, he passed away a good old 10 years ago now, but with the utmost respect for him, he had one eye, and he played the organ. And there's this one story that's amazing. Like, I was trying to fake being sick so I could get out of my piano lesson. And he bashed down the door to make sure that we could get in. Because we were we were outside, my mum was out for work, and she wasn't back in time. And I was trying to pretend to be sick. Oh, I can't have my lesson. Mum's not back. And he was like, right, we'll just bash the door. And he broke my door, and I got my piano lesson that day. So he taught me one thing, and that is, yes, you will do music, and that's the end of that. And he's been absolutely wonderful. Unfortunately, he did die a good few years ago now, but he was amazing, so cool. Brian Heaps, his name was.
Wow. All right. That's cool. We need to, sometimes, like, there's so many shitty teachers, and, like, the teachers, they never get to see how they influence people, because it's like 20 years later, that person I taught did something, so it's nice to give a shout out to teachers. Why did you guys come to Japan? Maybe Anna can take this one.
This was all my doing. I brought you all here because I was like, we have to go. It was, we had a few choices. Our original plan was to tour, to do kind of Mongolia, and we were thinking about going to Thailand, possibly even Vietnam, Cambodia. Malaysia, and all sort of around the countries south of, and China as well, actually, wasn't it?
Hong Kong too.
Yes, it was insane. And then we thought the visas and I think it was the travelling expenses for each country was going to be insane.
Yeah.
We had to whittle it down. So we decided to go to the Philippines first, which strangely we had a massive fan base there, and we thought let's go and check them out, go and meet everyone. And then we were like, let's just squeeze Japan in there afterwards. And then obviously since we've arrived here, we have found people who have known about us, and we're finally here. And yeah, I don't want to go home.
I've been here 11 years. I feel the same way. I don't want to go home. I like it here. How was the experience in the Philippines? Who would like to talk about the Philippines?
Yeah, it was quite surreal for most of it because we found the fans were more intense than in the UK or wherever that we played. They're more intense. They're not shy about coming up to you and grabbing a selfie or whatever and talking to you or asking you questions. It was almost, I don't know if we were a kind of novelty because we're sort of obviously a Western band coming over. I don't know if they get that excited about their hometown bands or whatever, but I just know that it was really quite surreal to have that much attention. I mean, by the end of it, we had armed security for the last gig where just in case the crowds kind of sort of stormed the stage.
How
kind
many
of thing.
People were there?
It was it like 700 or 800 in that Isabella place?
Shit.
Yeah.
I heard like that happens like in Thailand as well. Like just like there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Like not everyone's not like working 12 hours a day and they
Yeah.
don't have like internet connections that's so tight. So it's just like, well, let's go watch some bands.
Yeah, well, it's genuinely a third world country. They're very poor. I mean, all the shows we did outside Manila, pretty much in what I guess you would call the countryside, the very rural areas.
Jungle people.
Kind of, yes. And those shows were very much the intense ones, the busiest ones. But as you say, yeah, there's not much to do out in the sticks, so they go and watch live music, and they love it. So for that reason, we'd love to come back. So
All right. Yeah. I heard Thailand has a similar culture.
yeah,
They like Western music.
really appreciative of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Japan's a little more snooty, isn't it?
Definitely more reserved, I would say. That's the word I'd use. They're more
Yeah.
reserved. But I mean, the reception we've had is very good in Japan. I'm not, saying anything against it. It's just there's definitely a difference in the way they go about showing their appreciation. But we feel very loved here as well.
Yeah.
Japan's been very kind to us so far. So
Right on. So, how long have you been in Japan for as of now? Who would like to talk about that?
I think we've been just coming up a week.
just over a week.
Just over a week. Okay. And have you always just only been in the Tokyo area, or did you go down to Osaka?
I think it's mostly just been Tokyo.
Just Tokyo, yeah.
Yeah.
Tokyo.
Yokohama and Chiba were the two farthest away.
Okay.
So,
How would you compare the music houses and the equipment and the bands so far? Just like it's only a week, I know, but to Glasgow, like if you're going out to Glasgow and you're going to watch some bands, like you said, there's a big, rich music scene. What's the difference in like the venue and the bands and the players as well?
Well, to begin with, the venues themselves far more organised, far more efficient. Like the staff are far more organised
In Japan?
in Japan. Yeah.
Okay.
They have this thing that we have never experienced before. They have a short meeting, sort of 10 minutes before doors, where all the bands get in a circle and the venue manager, whoever, introduces the sound man, the lighting man, any stage hands, any other staff, and then all the bands introduce themselves, which is kind of bizarre for us because we were like, "What's going on here?" They were just clapping at each other. It's just that doesn't happen in the UK. It's unheard of in the UK, so it's kind of weird. But I think it's a good thing because it's very respectful, obviously, of everyone that's at the show and working at the show. So
It's an icebreaker as well, because bands back in the UK, everyone is kind of like, oh right, sussing each other, like, oh, who are these guys? Oh, who are these guys? Have we met before? And I do think in a way some people from Scotland as well as Japan can be quite shy. So we do find, like, should we go up to them? Should they come up to us? And over here, I felt we've had, just because we're so excited to be here, there's been no qualms about going over and be like, hi, we're Alter Sky, but then back home, there's almost like this line of, are we competing against each other? Because obviously, everyone being from Glasgow or travelling down to London, where loads of bands travel and play in the same area. Over here, everyone's just been like, yeah, welcome, this is wonderful. So definitely the venues over here, I've just opened my eyes, totally.
Anyone else? Comments?
Well, I'd say that the gear here as well is phenomenal. It's not like all of them have had half stacks, and they're all like in very good working order, where it's kind of hit and miss where we're from. You can go to one venue and you have an amazing setup, or you go to the next and you're a bit stung, or you have to bring all your own stuff. And like, we obviously don't have any of our amplifiers with us, and we're very lucky to be in a country that has such a massive music scene that they can supply that.
Okay, in Glasgow, you have to bring your own equipment, your own amps, your own drums,
a lot
and all
of the
that.
time, yeah.
Oh, it's so nice not to have that. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I hated packing my drums into some car.
Yeah.
And setting it up and taking it down. It's just all there. There's a drum technician and a sound guy and everything.
Yeah, it's quite good. Yeah, cool.
Okay. What are some of the highlights so far?
Last night.
What was last night?
Where was it that we played? What was it called? Yeah, Deepa.
Yokosuka. Otsuka. There's a good beer bar there.
We'll remember that for
Next time we play. Yeah, that would be a highlight for me, because the crowd was it was one of the bigger ones we played to, and on top of that, they were really into it. Like, they were all up the front, headbanging and jumping and cheering like crazy, and it was a reception that obviously, as we said, everyone's a lot more reserved, but it stood outside of that line last night, which was just amazing. And afterwards, when the people came running up and they were like, oh my god, amazing, it was just it was quite surreal to get that kind of reaction in this country.
Oh, that's great. Good news. I think music's coming back.
Yeah.
I think it kind of went away for about 6-7 years, like not really away, but away from the public eye. And I think people are getting back into music. I think they're a little bit tired of what's going on, and like the music can be an escape.
Yeah. Right.
And I think social media kind of took over for a while, but now a lot of people are kind of getting away from all that and getting back to music.
It's a lot more rooted now. I'd say, like, there's a lot more attention given to live shows and to actual bands, whereas for a while it was very much radio play and X Factor, and you come out of a commercial idea and that's purely it. Whereas, yeah, I'd agree.
What kind of social media works in Scotland? Like
Facebook.
Twitter, Facebook. Do you guys use Twitter?
Yeah, it's. I would say Facebook has been the dominant one for like 10 years. But Twitter's obviously grown a lot. Instagram is growing. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Snapchat as well.
Snapchat as well, yeah, tends to be.
But how do you guys promote using Snapchat?
We don't. It's just social media that people use. Facebook is the biggest promotional tool, but we're finding it harder and harder because Facebook now want you to pay for things, and they're less inclined to give you the same stuff for free. So it's kind of hard.
I find it's really good for reaching out.
Yeah.
But for example, like sometimes I promote things on Facebook and they're like, this image has too much text.
Yes.
It's refused.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you. Why do you choose my advertisement? Like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to control my image.
Yep.
It's like, it's a really useful analytics tool, but at the same time, I'm like, well, what's the end game here? What's next, man? What are you going to take next? What am I going to be paying for next? Or are you going to link my account to something else and I get charged for that too? Fuck that. These people are creepy. It's like a silent takeover, eh? Yeah, just salami slicing one thing at a time. That's what they're doing. I work in tech, eh?
Oh,
I work at a tech company, one of the biggest in the world. And I can kind of, the one I work for isn't like that, but I get to get some interesting insights into what other companies are doing as part of my job to research that. And they're definitely taking one piece at a time. Yeah. News media is next. All right. How do you guys write the songs? Okay, well, I'll present it to you in a certain way. When I'm writing songs, there's like 2 or 3 different styles of songs that I write. I tend to do folk songs and more folk music. So with folk music, you can have like a 3/4 thing, like, and it goes to the 7th, and then you go to the chorus, and you come back, you put in a guitar solo, and it's like kind of like an automatic song. But at the same time, it can be a little bit different. But people I like listening to like a standard folk song, and you can put in like an odd 7th or a minor chord here and there. But then you have like the more artistic ones or the lyrically driven ones. But I write the songs basically myself. How do you guys approach songwriting?
So
Anna?
yeah, it's me. Everything starts on the piano, so that's once again thanks to Brian Heaps. He's amazing. Basically, I'll write everything from the guitar solo, the melody, the guitar melody, the chord structure, and the song structure on the piano. And then I'll be like, "Hey guys, what do you think of this?" And then most of the time, I would just like nothing, because it sounds totally different on the piano.
You do not sound like a piano band. I'm not. Yeah, the Sega video game piano leads to Altered Sky is not really the ABC I'm thinking about here.
It's an odd one, but it's kind of, I have almost like the story and the music video and the progression that I want to happen in the song written on the piano before anyone else really gets to hear it. So the tricky part is trying to relay across the feel and the images in my head when we're trying to move things over to guitar or bass or drums. So what tends to happen is we'll just get Amy to play like a 4/4, and then we'll try and play chords just like as in 8, and then it sounds rubbish. Like it sounds really bad.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So it's really
I mean, just
difficult.
in general, not you.
Yeah, of course. Well, you should listen to some of our early practices. It's like, nope, that song's not going to work.
I'll skip.
It eventually does work, but it takes almost like an extra hour and a half. Literally, that's like the average time when I go home, and I'll just write it all in GarageBand, really quick, handy app, then bring it back again, and the song's basically finished, and then we try it again, and then it's fine.
Do you find when she brings a new song into the band, things that seem completely obvious to her are total mysteries to you?
Yes.
Drummer. Okay, no, sorry, we'll go. I was.
Stealing!
Question stealer.
Let's get the drummer's
Do you want
take
me
first.
first?
Yeah. And then we'll go.
Yes. Usually Anna has kind of a general idea of how she wants a song to feel, and finding the feel is the first
It's a pain.
big thing.
It's
It
a
is a pain, but it's fine. Even then, eventually we can find the feel, but then it's finding the rhythms that fit with that fit the guitar parts, that fit your vocals, that fit everything. So that's probably the part that takes the longest, I would say, of everything after you're writing everything.
The trickiest part as well is that, you guys most of the time have no idea what image is in my head. We've started this new thing though. We have like a group on Facebook where we'll put in our ideas and we'll talk about like the tour and stuff like that just for the band. And recently, the songs that we've written, I've started to add sort of random clips from YouTube, so random music videos, some of them being from Final Fantasy and so on and so forth, to show them how it should look and feel at the same time. So that was that Kingdom Hearts thing that I put up, and that's new, so we might have a new way of communicating, I think. It's always fun though.
Okay, and what about transitions? Like transitions from like the chorus to the verse or something, a transitionary thing, and she's like, yeah, and then it does this. And for her, she's like totally like nonplussed. Like, yes, of course it's like this, but then you're like, what does that even mean? Does that happen?
Not really. I think the transitions seem to happen quite easily. They seem easier to kind of...
It's more of a feel thing. Isn't it?
Yeah.
And Amy and we've been working together from day one, so our kind of communication is like better than, for instance, mine perhaps and Ryan's and Tara and mine and whatever.
Sure.
So we kind of know. I think Amy and I have a kind of, we know when it's like that should be a stop or that should be like...
There's an interesting relationship between the drummer and the songwriter, because you're not thinking, like, you have the melody, but you have the drums. So you're more like thinking of it in a percussive way. And okay. Ryan, is it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, what about you?
When Anna brings in like a new song into the room and we kind of go over it, it is at first it is quite difficult getting the piano parts into the guitar because there'll be like an added seventh or some weird chord that I can't play. Like I have to stretch my fingers like 6 times or something, and I can't do it. There'll be crazy ones like that, and then there's like ones that like it's like kind of like tapping, but it's not when she describes it. But it's like it's totally tapping.
It's difficult because it's the sound that I need the guitar to make rather than what it's meant to be doing.
It's something like that.
So it's not tapping. It's what I mean. It's probably reverb. It's probably picking. But then it sounds like on the piano, it's like so it sounds like it should be like that.
But you'll trial and error a couple of times, and then when something clicks, it clicks. And a couple of our new songs,
They're insane. So good. So good. Excited for them.
Anyone else on this topic? No? It's okay. So you write the song, then the band has to adapt to it, basically. Okay. Interesting. Anything else? Did you guys want to bring up anything?
Only that we're writing the second album now.
How?
Yay.
What's the recording industry like? Is it dead? And is everyone basically an indie artist, or is there like a network of music labels and people get onto music labels and
in the UK?
yeah?
I think a lot of bands signing to labels now doesn't seem to be. Yeah, a lot of independent labels are taking on bands, whereas you're finding it that not big bands. Not bands are being signed to like not many bands to like Atlantic or like big major sort of labels and stuff. The recording it's so easy to do now that everyone has access to it, and the same sort of places that you'd think to go are completely accessible if you've got money. So if you've saved up for like 6 months, you can go to Abbey Road, or you could. I can't remember. We went to Ramesh Dodangoda Long Wave Studios, and then we found after that like 6 other bands that we knew were recording with Ramesh. So it wasn't like any different, even though we love him to bits. We work with him really well, and he is wonderful. It just feels that everyone's going to the same places now because it's just accessible.
How is music consumed these days? Do you guys make CDs and sell CDs? And do the CDs sell? Do people still?
Yeah, I mean, it seems. I know in some places there's more of a leaning towards streaming or downloading or whatever.
She said YouTube.
Yeah, and watching live stuff, watching videos is obviously a huge thing. But we find it's kind of evenly spread. From our personal experience at the merch stall, we sell CDs. And looking at our sort of iTunes statements, people download our albums as well. It's kind of even. It's we can't really say one way or the other. But I heard in Japan, certainly they like to have the physical CD. I don't know if that's your experience for the last 10 or so years, but people coming up to us and saying, "Oh, you've sold out albums. That's a shame. I'd really like to buy an album because we like to have the physical CD to look at, read the book, and all that sort of stuff." So certainly not like that in the UK, I don't think.
There's a large tradition of imagery in Japan.
Yeah.
You like just looking at this park, you can see sculpture and imagery and presentation is very important in Japanese culture. So it tends to be a given that things look good and are well presented, right? Like it's pretty hard to find like bad stuff.
Right.
Like you got to go look for it. Like you got to like search for it and go, "Oh, this one's bad." But if you just kind of generally look around in Tokyo, you're kind of like, "Well, this is pretty hyper organized." So it tends to be, even for CDs, presentation is expected. How long are you guys in town for?
We have another 3 shows, I think. We leave on Wednesday night, which is the 18th, I believe.
Okay. All right. I wonder, anything else? Is that all right?
That was good.
Well, let me just take a little break and I'll think of something.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's about it. So you guys are playing with Jungles tonight at Sangenjaya. Jungles have been on the podcast, and you're very lucky to be playing with them, and I'm lucky to be seeing them tonight. All right, so where can people find your stuff? As in music.
Oh, that stuff.
Yeah.
You could find.
Not your bag, not your shoes, not your car keys.
We are pretty much available anywhere. You can get a physical CD from our big cartel, which is store.alteredsky.com. You can find us on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and yada yada yada.
Instagram.
Think of somewhere and you'll find us.
Facebook.
Just I tend
Twitter.
to go like Google search or
Yeah.
search engine, like I just do that these
Yeah.
days, and it's just like then you can get like a list, like 13 different things, and then you find your rabbit hole that way. So Altered Sky
Yes.
into a search engine and enjoy the results. Thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Coming to
Thank
this
you.
weird park, which is very far away from the venue. We should probably get back. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Falcon Passport.
10 years in Japan, motherfuckers. 10 years, 10 years, only in Japan. 10 years in Japan, motherfuckers. 10 years, only in Japan. Used to drink Asahi, now I'm on to Tokyo Blues. Ale good, I'll meet up with my fan on the street. Can I talk? Can I meet with a think about the scene over here? Yeah, see me hollering down, come down, holler at me. Oh yeah, 10 years in Japan. 10 years in Japan, motherfuckers. 10 years, only in Japan.
Falcon Passport.
And that was Altered Sky. Nice group of people. Good band. I saw their live performance. Sounded good. Looked good. All right. If you like their music, go check them out. Sort of these bands, unsigned, in a post-apocalyptic music industry, need all the help and support they can get. So help them out. Support them a little bit. Check them out. I'm going to kind of go into recently there was an election in Japan, and the ruling party previously just gained more traction. It's probably going to be business as usual. The Prime Minister of Japan, Abe, wants to change the pacifist constitution, which I kind of agree with now. It's like been a long time since their constitution was forcibly changed by another power. So they just want their own control over their own military. Name something crazy about that. Yeah, but they did terrible things in World War II. Let's move on. It's time to move on. So in the recent election, they won, and I came across these kind of articles. I'll briefly talk about it. Foreign residents' voices go unheard in Japan's election. This is by Junko Horiuchi in Kyoto News, October 20th. I found some other similar news articles like this, and let me just read you a couple of paragraphs. Despite the growing number of foreign workers and residents in Japan, their perspectives have been largely ignored ahead of Sunday's lower house election, according to the director of a nonprofit organization that supports immigrant children and youth in the country. Surprise, surprise. Activists want to change things. Iki Tanaka, whose youth support center has helped some 600 children and adults from 26 regions learn Japanese, says more must be done to help new arrivals integrate into the country. Well, at least they're talking about integration. Quote, I am afraid about the situation that while the number of foreign residents keep rising, Japanese society remains unprepared to accept them. Confusion will occur if unique issues and challenges faced by foreigners are left unaddressed, Tanaka said. Faced with a declining population and graying of the labor force, Japan is certain to rely on more foreign laborers, whose number has topped 1 million for the first time last year, propelled by increases in technical trainees, who often perform unskilled work for low wages. Let's see, a record 1 million foreigners were working in the country last year, up 19% from a year earlier. The number of registered foreigners living in Japan is also increasing in tandem with rises in foreign labor. But without sufficient support from the central government, municipalities are left to deal with foreign residents on their own through the use of volunteers and by adding a burden to teachers and other public officials. Well, to be honest, I don't think the national government is very good at handling individual foreigner needs. I mean, these are elite politicians, career politicians, generational politicians who don't know what it's like to work at a ramen restaurant as a foreigner. The local industry, the local municipalities are better equipped. So, and one other thing, a lot of these people, they say, oh, foreigners should be given the right to vote. It's like, I'm not a Japanese resident. I'm just a migrant, really. And I don't want to vote. One thing that I really like about living in Japan is that I don't have to worry about going to elections and voting for shit and having opinions about stuff that doesn't change anything. I don't have to be political. Oh, you guys gonna go vote? All right. Enjoy voting. I'm gonna not vote. I don't have to bother with your political process. We're trying to get you the right to vote. I don't want it. I'd rather sit at home and do my own thing, then participate in a voting process where it just doesn't make any sense. Japanese people might be a little bit too paranoid about it, though. They're like, oh, well, if they have the right to vote, they might elect their own foreign official. It's like there's so few of us that that's even possible. That would be funny, though, if like an Eikaiwa teacher like became the mayor of Tokyo somehow. Not speaking any Japanese is like just treats the entire diet like they're a bunch of 5-year-olds that the English, teaching them the alphabet, totally clueless. I will make Japan more international. Yeah, good luck with that. Canada's trying that. What a douche. Okay, so that's that for the politics part of it. Next, we're going to take a look at Halloween. Going to Halloween. Halloween in Japan is actually pretty damn fun.
The police estimate thousands of people will gather in Tokyo's busy shopping district of Shibuya. So they've decided to deploy more officers.
It's dangerous.
But when dawn comes and the flocks of people disappear, the real nightmare for locals begins. A massive cleanup. This year, volunteers will be collecting garbage, and 100,000 jack-o'-lantern bags will be given out to visitors. Local officials want people to use them to bring garbage home or dump them in specific locations.
Jack-o'-lantern.
They think the design will help enhance the mood.
At night, we would like everyone to have fun in masquerade. Then, when it's over, it'll be clean streets as far as the eye can see. I believe that's the ideal Halloween here.
Clean streets as far as the eye can see. Yeah. So that's the idea behind Halloween. You didn't hear anything about politically correct costumes. You didn't hear any finger wagging. You didn't hear anyone getting sued. You didn't hear like people stomping around going, this has to be less fun. It's pure fun. And we're going to go to the streets of Shibuya right now. Let's flit.
The rain has stopped. The kids are out to play. The squat team. Not the squat team. I like it.
Before we go to the convenience store, let's see if we can get some. Hey, where are you guys from? This is Matty B Files podcast, podcasting live Tokyo.
Don't walk too quickly.
Where are you guys from?
You can talk and walk.
No, nothing. They're running away.
They're afraid.
Hey guys, how you guys
doing?
They
don't speak Japanese. That's
we
what it
got Matty B Files podcast.
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Yes.
I'm Brother Rick. Rick and Morty, you guys.
Where's Rick?
Back at the club.
We left him at the space clinic.
Back at the club.
Yeah.
Fixing the spaceship, the flying saucer.
So what are you? What are you
I'm
tonight?
Brother Rick.
What am I looking?
You look like
Brother
a
from
security guard.
Where's my friend?
Tom, Jerry. You guys seem way too happy.
Yeah. This is for a podcast.
supposed to
We're
be
doing a live
fighting each other.
podcast. Are you guys?
So you're gonna have a little Jerry later.
We have a little Jerry.
Little Jerry.
A little Jerry time.
So.
And Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Ghostbusters.
Mr. Ghostbusters.
No ghosts here.
Wait, he's the logo. He's only the logo.
He's the logo.
I can be the bastard. Well,
Do you know the theme song? You do not know the theme song.
Command
I ain't
the
afraid of no
ghost
ghosts.
to
Give us
speak.
your best. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I ain't afraid no ghost.
No, that's good. Let me put
Pretty
this aside.
shitty.
Say it one
That's
more
a
time.
terrible way to
I
say
ain't
it.
afraid no ghosts.
Yes, there you go.
I ain't
Perfect.
afraid of no ghosts. You gotta
Bum,
drop
bum,
it like.
dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah, that sucks. You
Ain't
gotta
afraid
drink
of no
Coke under the
ghosts.
mask. Are you high? You look high. Eating like
he always look high.
you're like eating
He's
like
got
you're
a
high.
massive.
I won't say that too loud because if I say it too loud, you might get in trouble just for maybe being. So you gotta watch out. No.
We're just doing a little
I don't know what it's like.
podcast. Little.
This is my assumption.
What is it like on the streets of Shibuya?
I have no idea what it's like.
Huh?
Is it live?
No, it's not live. You might get cut out. You are most likely going to be entertained.
Yeah.
So what is this for?
Oh, this is just for.
Is this for?
This is for screening, and it's just for extra fun.
So what are you
It's a fuzz.
recording
It's
then?
a fuzz buster.
What are you recording for? I love your costume, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay.
For a podcast.
Hold on, we got Captain
This
America
guy's
over
fun.
here.
Oh, Captain America! Look at this.
And,
And the eyes.
So,
the
who
blue
are you
eyes.
tonight?
I'm Black Widow.
He looks good. Black Widow looks
Widow,
good.
Captain
Leo
America.
Radio.
Leader Radio.
Captain America.
Captain America. Looking good, Captain America.
And I love the context, the blue eyes.
Yeah.
I'm Cap.
All right. Comments about Halloween.
So cool.
What
Halloween no
what do you think?
commento.
I'm so happy.
All right.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah,
And
good.
Wait, what are you eating?
Moss burger.
Oh, Mossburger. Mossburger is very tasty.
With extra moss.
On that note, we're gonna go in and get some beer.
All right, beer
and make
time.
this interview more.
All right.
interesting. Thank you all. Whiskey. Oh, that's why it's so silent under the mask.
Yes. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Oh.
All right, we are inside
We
the
into the Family
convenience
Mart.
store. Inside, happy
I
Halloween.
see Donald Duck in the Family Mart.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey man.
Very nice.
Yeah, very thematic.
How long have you been Donald Duck?
You're born this way. What can you do?
Oh,
Like Lady Gaga Donald Duck.
Donald
I like it.
Duckian. Yeah, I get it. Where's Waldo?
Waldo, right here, man. You found him.
Fucking rights.
Wally. It's Wally in Japan, though.
Wally.
The ghosts.
Okay.
The ghosts from China.
Well,
The ghosts from China are here. The zombies.
So many zombies here.
The zombies.
去说我 here.
好换你猜呢。
猜拳，猜拳，猜
I'm
拳。
just making up out of that time.
玩你，玩你，玩你。
I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known. I'm
教
sorry.
学呀我
Hey, it's racist Halloween. That's-
Yeah. Race of Halloween.
Hey,
How about
I'm
you?
Brother Rick.
He's Brother
I
Rick.
was nigger Rick, but I decided to tone it down to Brother Rick because it was super racist. What are you?
去说
Duck? Whack, whack,
Yeah.
whack, whack.
We're standing next to beers in a convenience store interviewing.
What are you gonna drink? Nani no mimasu.
何が好きですか?
You
Nani
don't
ga
talk? Oh shit. This
Well,
interview's going nowhere.
You know what? It's been my dream to interview a mute. I've always wanted to interview someone
Can I put words
who
in your
just
mouth?
can't speak. Yeah.
Well, no. You don't want the DICK.
Yeah, you understand the words. All right.
Strong.
Hey
zero.
guys, we're doing
Oh,
a
the
little.
Joker.
Hey Joker.
What's that?
We're just
Whoa,
doing
whoa,
a
whoa,
little
whoa, you got
on the
Batman here.
streets.
Wait a minute.
on
How are
the
you guys
streets
friends?
interview.
How are you guys
My name is
friends?
Yoshi.
Yoshi,
Yoshi.
what's up, bud? What's up, bud?
Yeah.
Dangerous Joker.
Yeah, dangerous Joker, man.
Yeah. So what's
Very
the
nice.
deal? What do you think of Halloween, man?
You having fun?
My name is Yoshi.
Yeah.
I love sushi and
Yeah.
I love pussy, ne?
Oh, what about sushi?
Hand in hand, they
pussy?
go hand in hand. Sushi pussy. Yeah.
Do you want to eat nama maguro from a maguro?
Yeah.
Nama maguro.
I'm Rapasta, man.
All right. You want to lay down some beats?
Yeah. Hey. Oh, young suck. Or the ducking over Andrew. Oh.
Hey, go company. Shima honkini. Hey.
With the Joker.
What the Joker. 俺はポーカープレイヤー。Hey. Oh, shit, motherfucker. Oh.
Yeah, right on Halloween.
Man. Dangerous, man.
Dangerous.
Batman and the Joker.
Dangerous, right.
Having fun.
Little
Man.
Yoshi, aka Fuckboy.
Oh, yeah. Yoshi says the fuckboy, man.
In the bum.
Let's get some of the strong zero.
All right,
let's
pause this for now.
The Banana Boys.
You
guys just
went
bananas.
Banana.
You just went bananas.
Banana boys. Banana boys. Banana boys. Banana boys.
Boys.
Banana boys.
Chiquita.
So what's up, Banana Boy? What's going on, man?
I don't know, man. We just being bananas, hanging around here, you know, doing what we do.
Where you guys from? Oh shit, where are you from?
I'm from
Australia?
Yes.
Oh, you fucking New Zealand motherfucker, you lie. Where are you guys from? America. You got some Americans over here.
No, we're all American.
Oh shit.
Like,
really?
Donald Trump is definitely American. I see Donald Trump.
He's German, actually.
Oh shit.
No,
he's
definitely not American.
We're not all American?
Where are you from?
I don't believe in borders, so you know.
Yeah.
Amen, Mario. Amen.
Yeah, I'm from Earth.
So why you dressed up as Mario? What's up?
Because I'm actually from the Mushroom Kingdom. I identify as a.
What's that passport say? What's his
Psilocybin
passport?
style?
No, not quite. The psilocybin mushrooms are an Earth thing.
I hope he's got one.
The Mushroom
That's all I
Kingdom
gotta
doesn't have
say.
them. They're really awesome, but we just don't have any.
So what do you mean by the Mushroom Kingdom?
It's a place where. So I'm fucking this princess, right?
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate. I've never met her father, but I go through a lot of shit. I stomp on a lot of like mushroom-shaped things. I eat a bunch of invincibility stars, and it's a really weird situation for me, but it's a great life. Like as long as I don't die, as long as I keep a little life on me, I'll be good.
Sounds pretty rewarding.
Fucking Mario,
Thanks,
right
man.
on.
It's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Live the life.
That's a good explanation.
Live the
actually.
life,
Yeah.
Mario. Live the life. Find that woman.
Oh, we got Donald Trump.
We're here in Tokyo.
All right, Mr. President.
We got a fuck
What is your
chant
message
started.
on Halloween?
We're going to use Halloween to make America great again.
Yeah?
Hell yeah.
And then, what is the main thing on your mind right now, Mr. President?
Main thing in my mind is to deport the Mexicans.
Deport all of them?
Hell yeah, all of them.
Why all of them?
Wait a minute. Some of them don't even live in
All
America.
right, President Trump. You notice there's a lack of women?
He wants an interview, man.
BoJack Horseman!
BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman! Oh!
Whoa! Don't get mad at the mic.
I never expected much from a horse.
Get over here.
That's a Mortal Kombat reference.
I like that.
That guy was
I
Mortal
like that.
Kombat.
So, we got to get more. We need more. There's Prince.
Hey guys,
you're supposed to be dead.
So
I came right from the dead. I had to bring party back.
Prince,
glad you did,
never
Prince.
died.
Yes. I did.
You died?
I died, but I came back just for y'all. Just for y'all.
Man, Prince, thank you.
Can you give us your best Prince impersonation? Well, it's not an impersonation. It's actually you. Just do you.
Why not?
1, 2, 3.
I never meant to cause you any trouble. Or Saul, my bad. Sorry, I'm fucking up your shit. Do it.
He's trying to be Prince. D's.
Would you guys like some pancakes? Maybe we can play some basketball.
Oh.
You and your team versus me and the revolution.
If you find Mr. Murphy up there with you, tell him I said hello.
I'll bring him back next time, I promise.
Do
Please
that.
do.
and
Where
then
are you from, by the way?
We're
New
drummers.
York. New York. Oh.
Yeah. Look us up next time. We'll back you up.
What's the name?
Daryl and Matt.
That's the group name, or?
I'm Brother Rick.
Brother Rick.
From Rick and Morty.
Yes.
I'm a podcaster.
Citadel or C-137?
C-137.
The
C-137?
The truest Rick of the Rick.
Exactly.
I respect that.
Are you ready?
Oh, we got it.
I am.
All right, Prince has got a jet, folks. We got to move on. You notice how there's...
Yes.
Of course Rick is here. Why wouldn't he be?
You want a selfie with Rick? Is there a Pickle Rick? Pickle Rick! Oh shit, we can't exist at the same time. Actually, there's alternate realities, so we can always exist at the same time.
I'm so happy to see Rick. He's so awesome. Rick isn't here. Thank you.
Pickle Rick, I've been told, has been seen in Shibuya. I have no idea. But if I see him, we both die. So this is how these things work. I need to stay.
The universe implodes.
Morty's back at the club.
Yeah.
That little bitch is in chains.
We put him in stasis.
Oh my God, we gotta.
That fucker's in stasis.
Yeah, we gotta interview these two things.
All right.
Maybe
hi,
not.
excuse me. There are very few sexy women tonight.
Yeah, whatever. There's like
so
those
you
are the only girls on the
are
street.
nice, sexy ladies. What's your costume?
Army.
Army costume.
Army.
And why?
Army zombie.
So can I ask you why Army zombie?
Because cool.
Because cool. And how you feeling? How you feeling?
People I work with. Nice.
Strong.
We got
Good. I like it. I like it. So, are you dancing? Are you walking? What's happening? She doesn't want to talk.
Happy Halloween.
英語わからない。今日クラブに行くつもりですか？多分。まあ maybe ダンシングしたいかなと。まあ飲みたいですね。なるほど。
Oh shit! Damn! Fuck! You're dead, bro.
楽しんでね。
ありがとう。あなたもね。
はい、ありがとう。
I'm Rick.
ありがとうござい
I'm
ます。
Brother Rick from Rick and Morty.
僕めっちゃ普通。ごめん。
I might be able to help you out, but nah, fuck it.
最近ハロウィンいっぱいしたけど、今日はちょっとまあね。
今日取材の人ですよ。
まあしょうがないですよ。
Get in here, Claudia. Get in here.
Okay. We're doing a little podcast.
Happy Halloween.
All right. Happy Halloween.
Matty B Files. Matty B Files. So where you guys headed? I got you.
We're heading home.
Oh, you're heading home, Matty.
We're old.
Oh shit! You're not as old as us. You're not as old as us.
Awesome. So fucking awesome.
Are you guys old? Hello, 警察さん。
These are friends from work.
Oh, really? You know these people? Really?
We walk together.
Oh, okay.
From
From dimension work. The work dimension.
Oh, Godzilla. He's fucking Godzilla.
And who are you? Are you
I am a ghost.
a ghost? You look like a kitty ghost.
Somewhere.
I think I'm about to like melt in the rain.
I know. We got to get to the end of this road, and then we can
Alrighty.
see you guys.
You guys enjoy.
All right.
I'll see you back.
That's great. That's
back
great.
next week.
Awesome to see you.
He played good drums tonight, that's for sure.
That was a fun little gig. It was a fun little gig.
Interesting band.
I might want to pop up this umbrella.
Yeah, it's getting to that time. Let's finish it off here, bro.
Okay.
We're coming out to the Mega Donkey. If we could get one more comment. Hey, Oni! Oni!
Oni-san.
Kabuki.
That I
Oh,
wanna
let's get
unwrap.
taco interview. Hey,
Soon as
taco
I say-
ladies!
Taco ladies, taco
Taco ladies!
Taco
This
san,
is the
すごい。
最後のインタビュー。今日の最後のインタビューです。最後です。あなたたちは最後のです。今日はハロウィンですね。なぜ今日タコスコスチュー着てましたか？ You love tacos. Okay, what type of taco do you like?
I like soft wet.
No, Mexican tacos are the best.
And then chicken, beef,
Pork for sure.
and where do you go for your taco?
Yes.
Went to Taco Bell today.
Okay.
Just now, just recently.
Just now, we just came out from Taco Bell.
You went to Taco Bell as
Yeah.
tacos.
Yep, exactly.
So
what did they say?
What do they say?
Nothing. Yeah, that's kind of sad.
I don't think they recognized what you actually were. They're like, we don't serve your kind here.
thought that we were actually crepes.
We're not crepes. Are you guys all friends?
Mario.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm
From
Pickle.
now.
I'm
Well,
Rick.
you are
from Rick and
very
Morty.
delicious-looking taco.
But I'm brother Rick.
You look great. You look great. Yes. So thank you very much. Have a nice Halloween. Hey, by the way, what do you think about Halloween in Japan?
Oh, it's crazy. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool, though.
So let's hear first from you. What do you think of Halloween in Japan?
Well, it's kind of weird because, like, we don't really understand the background of Halloween, right? Like, Japanese people don't understand the background of Halloween originally, so it's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, this kind of stuff, like, we didn't used to do this before, so it's something new for, like, I think it started, like, around 5 years ago. Yeah, so it's pretty new, but we're enjoying it.
Okay, great. Have a good night. Cheers.
Oh yeah. And they weren't bearded. I like the shave type.
And they got nice legs. Look at the legs on those tacos. Ooh! And that was the streets of Shibuya. That was pretty fun. I hope so. I'm recording this before I even go, so yeah, you know, this is just my contribution to fake news. We are going to finish off the podcast today with a little kawaii messaging. There's this program called Kawaii Japan. It's the most surreal program, and it's just like girls trying to boost kawaii culture, and they kind of go to these places where things are technically kawaii, and they go, "Oh wow, that's cute. That's so cute." So this one is about Kawaii Stationery, which is a growing field in Japan.
Japanese girls really care about how the items they carry around look, and they adore cute stationery.
It's true.
This looks like an ordinary eraser, but the side of the case doubles as a nail buffer. 1.55 million of these have been sold.
Shouldn't be 1.55.
Sales in the Japanese stationery market have reached about 460 billion yen. Society at large might be going paperless, but targeted products are hugely popular and the market keeps growing.
$4.6 billion.
In particular, masking tape is a big seller.
Yeah.
Masking tape uses weak adhesive, which makes it removable. Each roll costs just a few hundred yen, so people love using masking tape for decorating. There's even a boutique in Tokyo that specializes in decorative masking tape.
An entire store.
They keep over 300 varieties in stock, and you need reservations to enter the shop.
Yeah.
They only allow 60 customers maximum per day.
So, if you're a dude, and if you're listening to this podcast, you probably are, a lot of Japanese girls really go gaga for cute stuff, which is a way in if you want to get in, but you also have to put up with it for a long time. I found a girl who is not so into kawaii, but just a little bit. It's just cute enough. It's fine, you know, like a handkerchief with a black cat on it. Yeah, I like it. It's stylistic, but it's not over the top. But could you imagine getting reservations for a stationery store to get masking tape where they only allow 60 people in per day? It's it is a thing. There are very high-end stationery shops, and they're fun. I go to them sometimes, and I leave with all this really cool stationery. I have this one piece of stationery. It's a paper cutter, and it only cuts one piece of paper at a time. So you can have like a stack of papers on top of each other, and you drag this little tiny blade that fits into your hand over one piece of the paper, and you cut open a square. That square will come out of the piece of paper, and the piece of paper below it won't have any cuts in it. Wow. That's so cool. I used to use it a lot, find uses for it. So you can find all this kind of goofy shit, but it works, and it's really good quality. And it's all, they have like glass cases filled with pens that cost thousands of dollars. They love that kind of stuff in Japan. I think it's kind of cool, actually, to have stuff that you use that also looks nice. So if you're into kawaii, you get kawaii. If you're like a businessman, then you have like a pen case with a nice expensive pen in it, and you hold it out and you sign a contract and you put it back in. I don't know. I like it. I've grown to enjoy it, like the way I've grown to enjoy natto. So let's get somebody who, let's take a little consumer profile about somebody who enjoys masking tape culture.
There are even masking tape collectors.
Konnichiwa.
Meet Ayaka Ito, a nurse. Step into her room.
Oh, wow.
Look at her desk.
So cute.
And under
So
her bed,
cute.
she's
So
got
cute.
masking tape everywhere.
What?
She's around the store.
Ayaka has bought over 1,000 varieties of masking tape.
1,000!
カラフルなマスキングテープとかが好きなんで結構元気になるというか
Colorful masking tape makes me feel happy.
癒しにもなりますし
Ayaka started writing a diary as a way to put her masking tape to use.
And that's the person. I have all this masking tape. Like, it's not like I have a diary, but I need some tape. It's like I have so much tape. What am I going to do? I don't know. I'll start a diary because I have tape. So there you go. By the way, if you're a dude and you're looking to impress a new Japanese lady, I really would suggest getting cute stationery. I really do. They'll love it. And they will think that you know about Japanese culture because you are able to identify this type of trend. It works. It works, guys. It works. They love it. So that's the podcast. In review, we had 2 book reviews, Transitions by Iain M. Banks, The Strange Death of Europe by Douglas Murray. We have, I didn't break down, I'll get into that next week. There's a new political party that I've noticed, and I'm going to do some more research before I introduce it to the podcast. We have Altered Sky from Scotland, who play good music. Check them out. We also had some Halloween on the streets, okay? Shibuya hotties, hopefully, as I get in there. And Kawaii from Japan, and as well as the local elections. I don't want the right to vote. I'd rather do other things than vote. So that has been the Matty B Files. Thank you for listening. Check you next time. If you're a beautiful person, and keep it real out there, folks.
アイドホ見たら国立公園で月のクレーター見るんだみんな見てるからねボイジの近くで何か食べに行こうみんな食べるからねみんな食べるからねホーチミンで会った女の子名前はセブンお気に入りの筋は11僕はいい気分セブンイレブンいい気分チャンビールチャンビールタイのチャンビールちゃんと酔っ払ったよみんな酔っ払おうからねそれであゆたや雪のチケット買って歩き回っても酔っ払ってたよみんな見てたけどねメコン川沿いに立って歴史の長さに感動だみんな気にしないけどねみんな気にしないけどねホーチミンで会った女の子名前はセブンお気に入りの筋は11僕はいい気分セブンイレブンいい気分僕の目をまっすぐ見て南に行こう南に行こう僕の目をまっすぐ見て国境の南に行こう国境の南に行こう いないところはいいねビゲローと同じビゲローバンの宇宙バンガローに一部屋プリーズみんな行きたいでしょプロショの宇宙飛行士とスペースウォーカーパーティーだみんな飲みたいでしょ若者って物質で地球を見たら地図で見たのと全然違うよみんなびっくりだよねみんなびっくり
Falcon Passport.